It reminds you that these guys just show up for work like everybody else. They're not wearing their uniforms when they come to the ballpark. They just come in here, reporting to work, punching the time clock, maybe signing an autograph or two. That makes it a little bit different from the 9-to-5 routine. But business is business. And for these guys, the business is baseball. So have a nice day and enjoy the ball game.
Now taking it good.
At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Houston Astros. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Citi. For each home run at Citi Field, Citi will donate $2,000 to No Kid Hungry. By Spectrum, switch and save with Spectrum Mobile, nationwide 5G included. Restrictions apply. Visit SpectrumMobile.com. By Geico, switch today and see all the ways you could save. And by the New York Lottery, visit SNY.TV/New York Lottery to enter the Mets bullpen jackpot promotion for your chance to win $10,000 or more. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling with you today as the Mets wrap up their two-game series against the Houston Astros. Taijuan Walker's won his last 3 starts for the Mets, and he'll try and keep the Mets from their first 3-game losing streak of the year.
You know, Gary, I think he's the most well-equipped right now with his game to face this tough and deep Houston lineup. Like you said, he's won his last 3, but even more so, has struck out 24 batters in his last 3 starts. He has been dominant.
Justin Verlander missed virtually all of 2 seasons with Tommy John surgery, but age 39, he has come back with a brilliant start to this year.
The career active leader in wins and in strikeouts. 12 of his 14 starts have been Cy Young-like. He's got 3 Cy Youngs in his career. Is he going for number 4 this year?
Verlander hasn't faced the Mets since 2016. He hasn't pitched at Citi Field since 2010. So for a lot of these Mets, it's their first time around against a future Hall of Famer. And I'm wondering, for a player in that circumstance, what does that feel like?
Well, I tell you what, when you're a young player and you're facing a Verlander, or in my case, a Tom Seaver, you know, it's trepidation. You have a little angst in there. But this is a veteran team here, this Met team. You have to look upon it as a challenge, and this is a must-win for them today. They got to try to get out of this series with a split.
Mets have played 3 with the Astros. They'll get 1 more, hoping for a win before the Astros head out of town. Mets in Houston, day baseball at Citi Field. All the action coming up on SNY. Chicken sandwich. And by your local Ford stores. Check out the full lineup of trucks and SUVs at buyfordnow.com. Fridays at Citi Field, the Mets will wear black jerseys, and you can too. Starting at $25, you can get a ticket and a black replica David Wright jersey. Scan the QR code on your screen to secure yours now. Your stats with Lowe's. The Mets held their own for a while this year, starting pitching-wise, even without Jacob deGrom. But then Max Scherzer went on the injured list, and, well, since then, 27 games, an ERA over 5 for the starters, and Scherzer and deGrom can't get back soon enough. Scherzer will pitch on rehab tonight for Hartford, then hopefully rejoin the Mets next week. deGrom threw 27 pitches to live hitters in Port St. Lucie today. Hopefully a rehab start is on his horizon. Meanwhile, Taijuan Walker holding the fort, looking for his 4th straight win. His first pitch is coming right up. Alvarez into the outfield. Aledmys Diaz gets the start at second base. Jason Castro, who's done a great job catching Verlander this year, will be behind the plate as the Astros look for their second 2-game sweep of the Mets in 2 weeks. Altuve in his usual leadoff spot last night walked to lead off the game. A check swing call that perturbed Carlos Carrasco. This was the swing, which didn't look like much at the time, but it certainly got Carrasco's attention. He was not happy at all with Chris Siegel's non-call of the half swing. And I I was a little shocked after the game that Carrasco kept coming back to that call as the reason why he had such a poor first inning. Wound up giving up 4 runs in that first inning.
That's the first time I've seen all those shots. I didn't know that he was that perturbed. I just thought, you know, in the course of a game, a check swing with guys on second and third or bases loaded with 2 outs would be something, but the first batter of the game is another thing.
I just thought it was unusual for Carrasco, who's normally such a stand-up guy, to use that as an excuse. Altuve drives the first pitch out to left. Ender Inciarte, owner of 3 Gold Gloves, goes back and makes it look like an easy play for a hard first out. So Taijuan Walker retires the first batter. Inciarte getting his first start as a Met. And Altuve giving him a look as he runs back to the dugout.
He was so patient last night, Altuve. Took a lot of pitches, worked that first at bat, but today coming out more Altuve style, swinging first pitch.
Well, I thought it was interesting yesterday with Carrasco. He started Altuve off with back-to-back sliders to start the game, which is something you don't see very often.
It's almost like he was trying to establish that. That's how he's going to go after him.
Jeremy Pena takes a fastball for a strike. Pena 1 for 5 last night. Beat out a double play ball in the first inning, which was important. Impressed with his defense as well. There are the numbers on Walker, brought to you by Toyota. Sorry.
More importantly, those numbers all improving. The last month or so, Walker has been on top of his game.
Last 3 starts, 3-0, 2.41. He's had only 1 4-start winning streak in his career, and he's trying to match that today. Swing and a miss by Pena, and it's 1-2. Pena just back from a thumb injury that cost him the series in Houston against the Mets last week, and boy, what a difference it makes with him at shortstop.
Did you guys enjoy watching him play shortstop last night? I think his footwork is impeccable.
Good slider by Walker to strike out Pena, and that's the second out.
Yeah, he was very smooth at shortstop, no question.
It's that slider that we've seen him at times just master the control of. Occasionally it's been a pitch that he hasn't been able to as well, but lately that's been a big pitch for him.
And it's enabled him to boost his strikeout numbers coming into today's start. Last 3 times out, 24 strikeouts and 18 2/3, way ahead of his season numbers. So here's Yordan Alvarez, whom the Mets have had absolutely no luck getting out. And a first pitch curveball from Taijuan, and he didn't get the call there. Ball 1.
Well, they've got him out 4 times, Garrett.
6 for 10 with 4 home runs. He was on base 5 times last night. First time in his career he had ever done that. And fastball paints the inside edge. Perfect pitch by Walker. 1-1.
Yeah, 6 RBI, 4 home runs. Jeez, the home run yesterday opposite field, impressive.
Walker misses with a back foot slider. He's thrown a couple of pitches in this at bat that could have been called strikes, but it's 2-1.
Alvarez now has 14 home runs on the road.
23 overall, 56 runs driven in. And that went in on his fists. A little pop up, and Guillorme right to the bag to make the grab. And that retires the side. So Walker takes care of Alvarez and sets the Astros down 1-2-3. Neal moves up to the 5 hole. Eduardo Escobar gets a day off with Luis Guillorme playing third. Dom Smith in the lineup at first base, which moves Pete Alonso to DH, and Ender Inciarte gets his first start as a Met after making his Mets debut last night.
Well, Justin Verlander, 39 years old, 8 All-Star appearances, 3 no-hitters. You see his numbers for this year, 3 Cy Young awards, including an MVP in 2011. 52-18 as an Astro.
Blew out his elbow. First start of 2020, missed the rest of that season and all of last year, and now at age 39 having a year for the ages. And Nimmo lines his first pitch into left center field for a base hit. It gets by Myers and goes to the wall. Nimmo to second. He'll take the turn and hold on there with a leadoff double. Brandon has been raking. This time jumping on the first pitch he sees for his 14th double of the year.
Fastball on the outside corner, going right with it. And nice welcoming for Verlander.
Justin Verlander hasn't pitched a game at Citi Field since 2010 when he was with the Tigers. He lasted just 2 innings and gave up 5 runs in that game. Now 12 years later, making his second start at Citi Field. They're starting Marte. He's been hot, 6 for 12 over the last 3 games, 2 doubles last night. And he gets a first pitch breaking ball and lifts it to shallow center. Myers coming on, and he puts it away. So both Nimmo and Marte putting the first pitch into play, and that's the first out for Verlander.
And your Chevrolet Astro defense, Jason Castro goes behind the plate. Aledmez Diaz gets the start at second base. And Jeremy Pena really impressed with his glove work yesterday. And of course, he's got the Gold Glover over at first. And then in the outfield, Alvarez is in left field. That's where he plays when he doesn't DH. Jake Myers recently returned, improves the defense in center, and they got the big strong arm in Kyle Tucker in right field.
Francisco Lindor has the most experience hitting against Verlander in this Mets lineup, and he's done well. 10 for 32, a .313 average with a home run against his former AL Central rival. Lindor 0 for 2 last night. 3 on the right side against Francisco, and he takes a fastball away, 1-1. The last 6 games have really struggled with runners in scoring position. 6 for 46, bringing their season total down to 275.
Well, you know what? They're facing a better pitching staffs. Houston, one of the top pitching staffs, top to bottom in the American League, and Miami's got a good pitching staff. So, you know, it's the caliber of pitching has picked up.
Hammered on the ground down to Gurriel, who plays the easy hop, retires Lindor, and Nimmo to third, 2 out. Ronnie, you've been watching Verlander a long time. How, if at all, has he evolved since his MVP days 11 years ago?
Well, his MVP days, he did something that I never had seen from any pitcher before him or prior to him, and that was he had 101 in his back pocket, and he would start the game at 94, and he would only go to 100 or 99 if he needed to use it as the game went along, and if he was nearing a complete game, then he'd empty out the bucket. Nowadays, when you see 94 to 95, that's what you're going to get, but his breaking stuff is better.
There's Alonso, 1 for 3 last night, DHing today, and he takes the slider up and away, ball 1. New Balance fearless approach. Justin Verlander, 2-time Cy Young Award winner, MVP, 235 career wins, 3 no-hitters. If you take out the stuff before 1900, there are only 4 pitchers in history who have thrown 3 no-hitters. Ryan had 7, Koufax had 4, Bob Feller had 3, and Verlander has 3.
Wow.
Cy Young had 3, but one was before 1900. Larry Corcoran had 3, all in the 1880s. And that's the entire list. Nimmo's at third with 2 out. And Pete takes another slider up and away, and it's 2-1.
That 2011 year when he was the Cy Young and MVP for the Detroit Tigers, 24-5, 2.40, 251 innings, 250 strikeouts.
Now has 3,097 strikeouts, which is 16th on the all-time list. 5-time American League strikeout champion. Pete gets one in the air to left field over toward the line goes Alvarez, and that'll go out, play foul.
Well, he got away with a hanger there. Pete was a little too quick.
Kurt Schilling next on that list for Verlander to catch.
Well, he's 16th on the list, and of the 15 in front of him, there are 13 Hall of Famers, Schilling and Clemens. And Justin Verlander, 5 years after he retires, he'll be in the Hall of Fame as well.
Don't be surprised if he pops him inside here.
It's upstairs with a fastball at 96 and a full count. How good has Verlander been this year? 62 hits and 16 walks in 89 in the third innings. Yeah. That's a 0.87 whip, walks and hits per innings pitch. That's second best in the American League. His ERA is third in the league. His batting average against is second in the league. He's on a Cy Young caliber pace at age 39 after 2 years away. And Pete carves one down the right field line, but foul.
No fear in Verlander going after the Mets with a lot of hard stuff.
Let's see if he pops him in here, Ronnie, after that ball down the right field line.
The one thing that he has changed is that he is predominantly pitching up in the strike zone. Very rarely see anything down other than a breaking ball maybe out of the strike zone. He's had 2 bad starts this year. 9 2/3. He gave up 10 earned runs. The other 61 1/3. He's given up 12 earned runs.
Great start last Friday at Yankee Stadium. The previous start was the bad one against the White Sox. He got knocked out in the 4th inning. Gave up 7 runs. 3-2 to Alonso, and that's too high. He sailed the fastball on 3-2. And the Mets have runners at the corners for Jeff McNeil. And there are those last 2 starts. Brilliant one against the Yankees last Friday, right before they pitched the no-hitter the next day.
Remember that start against the Yankees. The Yankees had come back, scored 4 runs in the 9th to win that game, and came back and really was the stopper. He's been a stopper his entire career.
Looked like that start in the White Sox. He got some bad defense, some unearned runs there.
Here's McNeil. Jeff returned from 5 games on the sidelines with a hamstring. Last night had a base hit his first time up, and he takes the first pitch slider down for ball 1. Jeff's now got a 9-game hitting streak dating back to before he tweaked his hamstring. He's got his average up to 328 for the year. That's 3rd best in the National League, hitting .404 with runners in scoring position, and trying to get the Mets an early lead with a 2-out hit. Another slider and half swing. He did not go around. 2-0.
Well, after the first 2 batters, that would be Nimmo and Marte swinging at the first pitch. Lindor, Alonso, and now McNeil, really typical Met at bats, making the pitcher work. They don't swing at bad pitches.
No overshift against McNeil. Still a spacious hole at short. And he tries to go that way and fouls off the fastball. 2-1.
If I can express how difficult it must be to be 39 years old and still throwing the ball 96 miles an hour after Tommy John surgery.
They say some guys gain velocity after Tommy John, but usually when they're 23.
Those are the young guys. The flat bellies, as they call them.
Left-hand hitters hitting just 159 against Verlander this year. And McNeil shoots one foul, and it's 2-2. Oh. 2 more left-hand hitters, actually 3 more left-hand hitters behind McNeil. Guillorme, Smith, and Inciarte. That's loaded up the lefties against Verlander today.
McNeil, as you can see, chokes up on the bat, and it's not a long bat. It's a short bat, lengthwise. He is really choked up.
Wields it like a magic wand.
Keith, what's a short bat? 34 inches?
34. I use a 34 and a half. I would never saw anybody use a 33. You know, or
not even Tony Gwynn.
I never saw Tony. I never picked up his bat. I didn't want to. You know, I want to leave his bats alone.
It looked like he was swinging a toothpick.
Well, he's swinging a 32-inch right now, at least.
Yep.
Verlander has to come inside, misses, and now his second straight full count.
Making him work. Making him work. Good effort. Good try right here. Good eye.
Keith, Tony Gwynn, 32.5 inches.
Wow. Rusty used a small bat with a big barrel, a big Coke bottle barrel.
Alonso gets set to run. Gurriel playing behind him. Nimmo at third. 3-2 coming to McNeil. And a breaking ball fouled off. Got a slider up that time. He's thrown a few high sliders early in this game.
He throws a lot of high breaking pitches. That is one of the things that he's changed. That being said, that was a real good swing by McNeil on the breaking pitch in the zone. Fastball in is his better weapon, I think, for Verlander against McNeil.
First ever at bat for McNeil against Verlander, and he's about to see his 8th pitch. And Jeff cranks one foul. Fastball inside, and he turned on it.
Everything's one speed right now from Verlander.
He's got the big hook. We haven't seen much of that. I think Marte got a first pitch curveball that he hit.
Yep. I got to think he's going to try to drop it here. 3-2 count. And this is a typical pesky met at bat.
20 pitch inning plus for Verlander.
Mets have forced a lot of those first innings this year, building up pitch counts against starters. Verlander 7 times this year already has gone 7 innings or more. He's dropped right back into that workhorse category even after 2 seasons away.
And he wants to get out of this inning. How do I get rid of this little pest up there?
9th pitch coming from Verlander to McNeil, and the breaking ball got him. Left that one away. McNeil chased it, and Verlander's got his first strikeout in the Mets strand 2. No score after 1. Well, Jeff McNeil had seen a whole steady diet of fastballs and sliders, and he got the changeup from Verlander.
You know, Gary, we had talked before the game that it's a pitch that he very rarely uses, but McNeil's at bat was so good.
Alex Bregman pops up the first pitch from Taijuan Walker, and Guillorme grabs it, 1 out.
It was so good, his at bat, fought up that fastball in, pulled it down the line, that he went to door number 3 with the changeup very rarely used.
I think because of the men on base, that's why he went to that, which is really a tip of the hat to McNeil. That was one heck of a battle right there. And McNeil had 2 pitches to hit. He pulled one foul and he fouled one back. And then the good pitchers, when they make a mistake, gosh, you've got to capitalize, because you're giving them an opportunity to drop a nasty one on you, which Verlander did for the strikeout.
Just for reference, Verlander has thrown his changeup an average of once per start this year. And Ronnie, the fact that he threw 20 pitches before that, and then threw that one changeup in a huge spot, that's kind of remarkable, isn't it?
Well, we see that with DeGrom when he's at his best and on the field, right? Is that when people are on base, he's able to come up with that pitch out of nowhere at the exact spot he wants to throw it. And for Verlander to have a pitch that he very rarely uses in a tight spot, break it out and throw a perfect one, that's why he's going to be making a speech at some point.
2-0 to Kyle Tucker.
That's a good point, Ron. I mean, he pulled a rabbit out of his hat right there. The first time he threw it, doesn't throw it very often, as Gary mentioned, and he beautiful sinker down and away.
Tucker had a 3-run homer in the first inning against Carrasco last night. He's had 2 hits against the Mets this year and driven in 6 runs. He had a 3-run double in Houston and a 3-run homer last night.
That's a very funny thing. When he gets in the box, he establishes his stance on that back line, and then as the pitcher is about to throw the pitch, he moves that back foot all over the place. Most hitters keep that pretty rock solid.
Got that lanky body.
Swinging 3-0, and he bounces one foul.
Well, he got a fastball here. It was the first pitch, I believe, and that was down the middle, and he launched it. Here's one of those times the pitcher says, okay, I got to get ahead of this hitter and then do my magic, and he never got the pitch back. You got kind of a physique like Bruce Beauclair, Gare, a little bit. Or am I wrong? Tall and lanky.
We're in the middle of the diamond. That's where Guillorme is playing. He's all over the place early in this game. 2 out. I don't remember Bruce Beauclair's physique that well.
He was kind of an awkward runner, and Tucker's not. Reminds me a little bit when Ken Henderson came up, the old San Francisco Giant, which probably no one knows about. Alexis defense for the Mets. Guillorme now in his 7th start at third base. McNeil back in familiar environs at second. Dom gets the 16th start at first base. And Ciarte, a surprise start right there out in left field. Came in last night's game, had 2 at-bats in center field, which is what he's normally patrols, but he's out in left field his first start.
Billy Gurriel hit a 2-run homer last night, and he lines one over the head of Guillorme. Finally hit one someplace Guillorme couldn't get to it. Gurriel's going to try for 2. Inciarte's got a great arm, but the throw is offline, and Gurriel arrives safely. So Gurriel, who had a home run last night, doubles his first time up today. First hit for the Astros.
Well, it's off the end of the bat a little bit, so it's kind of a soft liner. And why not? Good hustle. Even a good throw would not have got him. And that's why he got the double right there, folks. Out of the box hustling.
Gurriel all of a sudden has come alive over the last week. Ledmus Diaz getting a start at second base, fouls one away.
I mean, batting title last year, 319 average, so a lot of room for improvement for Gurriel.
When the Mets got to Houston last week, he was hitting .222. He's now hitting 6 straight games, so he's starting to get back a little of what was missing. And Diaz fouls one into the ground. Diaz was down with a shoulder injury when the Mets were in Houston last week. Came off the bench last night, got a couple of at-bats as they rested Altuve late in the game. When Diaz came up with the Cardinals, he had a great rookie season. In fact, he made the All-Star game as a rookie in 2016. That rarely happens. He's never been able to duplicate that kind of success, though.
Now, did he get hurt and Paul DeYoung took his position?
Yep. Yeah, that's what happened.
Just missed with a splitter, and it's 2-2. Taiwan will throw that splitter when he gets ahead in the count, and opposing hitters on at bats that end in the split are hitting 155. Throws the slider. It's bounced to Guillorme. The quick throw to first in time to get Diaz, and that retires the side. A double and 1 left, middle of the second, no score. Fan of the game is Susan from Troy, New York. They have a big hollow horse just outside Troy.
Oh, yeah, the other Troy.
Go to sny.tv/CHR to enter. Good luck, Susan.
RPI, maybe.
Luis Guillorme leads off the home second, takes a fastball strike from Justin Verlander. Guillorme snapped an 0 for 12 streak when he came off the bench with a base hit yesterday, hitting .311 for the year. .385 on base percentage. And I don't know how much significance there is to Guillorme being in the lineup today with an off day tomorrow, giving Escobar a day off, and how much more of that we're going to see from Buck.
Gives him 2 days off.
Right. Well,
that extra day is gold.
Let's see the season series so far. Astros 3-0 against the Mets.
He about scored them 22-6.
And hit 9 home runs in the 3 games. Guillorme floats one out to center. In comes Myers diving, and he made the catch. Nice play, Jake Myers. Coming back from shoulder surgery. They are so happy to have him back in center field. Won the job last year as a rookie, got hurt in the postseason, and now back with more of this.
Nice play.
The Astros were expecting Miles Straw to be their center fielder for years to come. He could not hit enough, and Myers came and took over the job, and really a hard landing.
And a hard landing on the shoulder. I don't know which shoulder was the one that he had the surgery on, but watch the left shoulder here. That's a jolt.
Kirk Neuenhuis hair for Jake Myers in center field.
And he appeared to come up no worse for wear. Here's Dom Smith, and he takes a fastball outside. And Myers was having a great postseason when he got hurt last year. And they had to mix and match in center field the rest of the postseason. They played Tucker out there. They played McCormick out there. 1-1 to Dom, who is 3 for 9 since coming back from the minor leagues. And he went around on the slider. 1-2.
Boy, very similar to Altuve.
Less. That's pulled down the line. Foul. Just missed an extra base hit.
Talking about Jake Myers sustaining that injury, Gary. He was trying to rob a home run from Gavin Sheets in that American League postseason playoff game.
That's the White Sox.
White Sox.
Well, you play all year and you get hurt in the postseason. You can't play in the postseason. How disappointing is that?
You know what? Some guys get hurt in the postseason and they keep playing. And then there's curveball in for a call, strike 3, and Dom is down looking.
Are you referring to Rusty
I'm
Staub?
referring to Rusty crashing the fence in the League Championship Series against the Reds, and then playing the World Series on one arm and hitting over 400.
Did he have a 2 home run game? He hit a home run off Holtzman. Rusty said that game he inside outed with the shoulder. He said the wind was blowing out to left field. He said that was kind of wind blown off Holtzman.
His arm was in such bad shape he could not throw overhand from the outfield. He had to underhand the ball into the infield. Inciarte lines one to center, but right at Myers, and that retires the side. Verlander sets him down 1-2-3 with some hope for Myers. No score after 2.
No doubt.
No, I wouldn't recommend this because you got to stop here and go to Citi Field. But if you want to, but if you get here to the game early, go the next stop to Main Street. Korean barbecue.
Korean barbecue. It's unbelievable. Jason Castro takes a strike. I mean, the Korean barbecue itself is great, but then all the little side dishes, I mean, you can just gorge on those.
That's right.
Castro lines one into right field for a base hit. So Jason Castro came into the day hitting .095, dumps a base hit in front of Marte, and the Astros have their second hit.
Well, those guys that hit on the interstate, they get hits once in a while.
Well, this is the ones.
In a while.
The Astros have a deep enough lineup that they can afford to have 2 defensive-oriented catchers in Maldonado and Castro.
Yes.
And Verlander's been particularly successful with Castro behind the plate this year. 1.16 ERA with Castro catching him, and that's why he's in there today. Here's Jake Myers. He grounds one down to third. That's a fair ball over the bag. Throw to second for 1. The relay to first not in time against Myers' speed.
Yeah.
Nicely done by Guillorme, picking off the lead runner, getting the slow-footed Castro for the first out.
Guillorme is such a treat. That ball was starting foul and came back. He's such a treat to watch field.
7 outs in this game, and Guillorme has participated in 5 of the 7.
Keith, you misspoke, but I think you're right. He is gourmet when he's out there.
Here's Altuve. Jumped on the first pitch. Taijuan Walker threw today and lined out to left field. DHing today. It's only the first time this year that he's DHing. 35th time in his career. Got slightly lower numbers as a DH than he has as a second baseman. Just 2 home runs in 34 games. And Walker comes inside, ball 1. Did you notice that Taiwan isn't throwing his cutter anymore? He's throwing a lot of those early in the season.
I think it was taking away from his slider. So he's got the feel for the slider. Why mess around with another pitch similar?
Choosing between one or the other. There's the slider, and it's fouled off. 1-1. Well, Taiwan's won his last 3 starts, most recently against Miami. Gave up a first inning run in that game, gave up 4 hits, and took him a while to settle in, but eventually pitched another quality start. The 2 before that were just brilliant against the Angels and the Marlins. And you see the big strikeout numbers in both those games. For the most part, though, he's been pitching to contact this year, despite the recent strikeout totals. Here he goes, soft pedaling his move to first base as he does before he gears it up and picks somebody off.
I think he was just reminded by the first base coach, and that would be Omar Lopez, that he's got a better one.
Yeah, don't fall for it, kid.
Picked off John Birdie in his last start against the Marlins. A little flare on the right side. Let it drop. That's a good play by Dom. Oh, first. Oh, he went the wrong way. And he pounds his glove. He knew he had made a mistake. All he had to do was flip it to Walker covering at first. Then they would have had Myers in a rundown. But instead, Dom went after the lead guy and did not get the double play.
Everything right here. You got the runner at first. Oh, they had it.
Oh,
they
easy.
did have it. You know what? That's just a play that is just, you can't script. Had the right idea.
Things tend to speed up when that ball hits the ground.
Well, Walker knew to cover first, and everybody was in position, and Dom just it just blanked for a second. No harm done, though, as Pena grounds into the fielder's choice. Another chance for Guillorme, and it's no score in the middle of the 3rd. Up in the zone with his fastball today.
You know, one of the things that changed when he was in Detroit at the very end, people sometimes forget, things weren't going that smoothly for him, and he was traded over to Houston. And he got over there and he got together with the analytics department, asked a lot of questions.
Tomas Nido, first pitch swinging, flies one out to Tucker in right field. And he has to retreat to the warning track to grab it as that ball carried, 1 out.
And Gary and Keith, one of the answers he got was that one of the reasons he wasn't as successful as he'd been in the past is because he was not pitching up in the zone to combat the swing path of today's hitter. And he bought into it. He asked a lot of questions, and it resurrected his career.
Well, when he came over to Houston, it was Jeff Lunau was over there running that operation, and a lot of the pitchers that came to Houston, remember, found success because they went and found their strengths through the analytics department.
Here's Nimmo, line to double to left center, leading off the 1st inning.
Garrett Cole in Pittsburgh was a 2-seam slider pitcher, trying to get a lot of first pitch outs, trying to get a lot of ground balls. He went over to Houston, only struck out 300. He struck out 300 and got 300. It's a good combo.
+300.
Yeah, exactly. Trivialities.
Well, Verlander got 300 and 3,000.
Yeah.
Right? Got 300 in a season and 3,000 in a career in the same year.
That's right.
Verlander came over at the absolute deadline in 2017. I mean, the Mets were in town, right? It was right after Hurricane Harvey, and it was like 3 seconds before midnight, August 31st, the deadline to get him on the roster. Nice play by Diaz, and he flips it to get Nimmo for the 2nd out. And you know, I don't know if the Astros win it all in 2017 if they don't make that deal for Verlander. He's been a fantastic postseason pitcher, among other things. 14 postseason wins in 30 career starts. By the way, those first two guys, McClanahan and Manoah. I mean, McClanahan is something special.
He is.
Lefty with an unbelievable arm, and Manoah's just a monster.
McClanahan reminds me of Mark Langston at his best in the day.
That's a good call. Before he went to Montreal.
Yes. The Seattle Langston, although he was good everywhere he went.
I mean, he unfortunately gets remembered most for two things. One, getting traded for Randy Johnson, and two, giving up the grand slam to Tino Martinez. Right?
No, there's a lot more there. Just take a peek at his baseball reference.
Marte flies one out to right, and Tucker's right there waiting for it. And so Verlander has himself a 1-2-3 inning. He's retired 7 in a row. Breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for your New York Mets, just like that guy. And that guy. And that guy.
And that's, don't worry, you can look. Go ahead, because the screen's in front of you.
We do that. We have screens in front of us, and we still watch the game. Yordan Alvarez takes first pitch curveball down from Taijuan Walker.
It's the second time in a row Alvarez has gotten the call on first pitch curveball.
Walker got it in on him, and Alvarez popped up his first time. And that slider just missed, and it's 2-0. And Chris Siegel, the home plate umpire, not doing Taijuan any favors.
And I like the way Taijuan is handling it.
That's Chris, C-H-R-I-S.
Not Sabergny.
Fastball in for a strike, and it's 2-1. Alex Bregman on deck, and then Cal Tucker. Is that how you pronounce that?
That's what I was looking at.
And Alvarez fouls off the slider, and it's 2-2.
Very simple motion from Taijuan Walker. He's a big athlete, and he has just simplified everything, pitching from that hybrid stretch position. Not a lot of push off. Why he doesn't have to. That's how big and strong he is.
Alvarez gets straightened up 3-2. Quite a contrast watching Walker and then watching Verlander, who's got the classic full windup.
Full windup, a lot of push off, a lot of legs and arms flying everywhere. Very controlled. Gets in a great fielding position. Does Walker.
3-2 to Alvarez, and he lines one down the left field side. I'm going to go foul.
And one thing Alvarez, Gary, you mentioned last night that he's a good secondary pitch hitter, off-speed hitter. And there's a classic example right there. He pitched an in, came with a changeup, and there he is hitting the ball where it's pitched. Off a Shreve last night, a fastball out over the plate. He didn't try to pull it, and we've seen him pull 3 bombs in Houston. He is something.
And the curveball on 3-2, and he missed with it, and Alvarez is on with a walk. First walk given up by Taijuan, and we'll take that.
This might be the finest young hitter I've seen come up and that I can remember. So we get to see Juan Soto a lot, right? And I think most people have been thinking about him as being maybe the finest young hitter. He's got a couple of years now on Alvarez. Ronald Acuna Jr.
Austin Riley. I mean, we've seen a lot of good young hitters, but for you to say that Alvarez is the best, that goes a long way.
Boy, I just love what I see. Quick bat.
Here's Alex Bregman, and he takes a splitter that misses, ball 1. Bregman popped up his first time up. One of the few times the Mets have gotten him out the last 2 weeks.
Bregman is very antsy in the batter's box, going back and forth.
A little looper over short. That's going to fall in for a base hit. And the Astros have the first 2 men out of the 4th, and Bregman's now 8 for 13 against the Mets.
Well, as you mentioned, he was not hitting at all when the Mets came into Houston. Here's up and in, and he just got the barrel, enough of the barrel on it.
Both Bregman and Gurriel were really struggling when the Mets got to Houston last week, and they both started hitting. So Walker's got his first Mets to deal with. First and second, nobody out. Kyle Tucker coming up.
If you learned from last night, Taijuan Walker, I'm sure he did, careful on the first pitch to Tucker with runners on base.
Tucker swings at the first pitch over 47% of the time, top 10 in the major leagues. This one at his feet, unswingable, and it's ball one. He's a good breaking ball hitter. 1118 OPS against breaking balls, 4th best in the majors, and he is a distinct fly ball hitter. He has the 2nd highest fly ball rate in the majors.
That foot establishes and then kind of kicks the dirt away. Very interesting.
Goes after the splitter and misses 1-1. I wonder whether that's just to relieve tension.
Yeah, I think it's a nervous reaction. That's what it is when he gets in the box. Good split here. This one acted like it cut in and down.
It's held on to repeat.
Came off that middle finger. I just noticed too, he's got a good top hand on his swing. He brings that top hand over. I just saw it noticed it with that replay we just showed, where his top hand comes over and it makes him a pull hitter.
All the way down in the knob of that bat. There's a good split by Walker, and it's 2-2.
Tucker, no gloves. You got to appreciate that, Keith.
Yeah, I love it, and kind of swings and follows through. Not just a slight hint of Carl Yastrzemski with his follow through.
Out of the same high school as Pete Alonso down in Tampa. 2-2 coming, and he struck him out. Steady diet of splitters from Walker to Tucker, and he picks up his 2nd strikeout of the day in the first out of the inning.
It wasn't only split finger, but split fingers in and down, which was interesting. You will be able to get that ball in on the left-hander if it comes off that middle finger. See, it's supposed to be away. That's more middle, but down.
The change of pace fooled him.
Now Gurriel, and he takes a fastball for a strike. That time Walker got the borderline call. Gurriel doubled down the left field line with 2 out in the 2nd. Bats here with 2 aboard in the 4th. He's hitting just 140 with runners in scoring position this year. And he grounds one to third, a chance for 2. Guillorme to McNeil and on to first, and in time, double play, side retired. Taijuan Walker works out of trouble with a strikeout and a 5-4-3 double play. Busy day for Guillorme. McNeil with the turn. Keeps it scoreless in the 4th at Citi Field. On the latest Mets pod, Connor Rogers and Joe DeMayo discuss pitching targets at the MLB trade deadline, plus break down the Braves and the race for the NL East. Subscribe and listen to the Mets pod on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. Francisco Lindor leading off in the home 4th against Verlander, who allowed a leadoff double to Nimmo in the first inning on his very first pitch, and that's the only hit he's allowed so far today. Lindor grounded out his first time up, and taking all the way. That's interesting. A call strike, 1-1. So there are the starters so far today. Walker's thrown only 45 pitches through 4 innings. Verlander's been just about as economical, 37 through 3. So he's allowed only 1 hit today. The league is hitting just 192 against Verlander coming into today's game. If you look at every pitcher in the live ball era, so since 1920, age 39 and over, that 192 average against Verlander is rather historic, because there's only 1 pitcher age 39 or older who's allowed that low a batting average through a full season, and it's Nolan Ryan, and he did it 4 times. He did it at age 39, 42, 43, and 44. And he's the only guy who's held hitters to a lower average at age 39 plus than Verlander.
Nolan at an advanced age led the league in ERA, the National League in ERA, I think, in one of those years. 84, 85, one of those years.
He was a phenomenon. Poked foul by Lindor. Alonso and McNeil to follow for the Mets in the fourth. Mets had a scoring chance in the first inning after Nemo's leadoff double, but Verlander worked around it and now has retired 7 in a row. So he's already gone deeper in this start than he did his first time at Citi Field with the Tigers in 2010. Interesting that he and his former Detroit teammate Max Scherzer are pitching on the same day.
That's right.
But Max will be doing his work tonight in Hartford in a rehab start for Binghamton, which hopefully will be his last rehab start. It remains to be seen. If so, that would mean that Max would be slated for a start in Cincinnati next week.
Against the Yard Goats, Gary.
In Cincinnati? Oh no, in Hartford.
In Hartford.
What is a yard goat?
They used to put goats on the train tracks to eat all the grass, so it would keep the grass down low instead of the big weeds.
Popped up. Bregman with a long way to run into foul territory. He'll get there. And Lindor retired 1 out. I figured that the yard goat would be eating more than just grass. You know,
well,
because there's a lot of debris that the goats might also take care of.
They eat whatever. I only know that because in Worcester they used to have those as well, and near the train tracks. So
they had actual yard goats, not like a baseball team called the yard.
No, the actual goats that they would just, kind of, I don't know how they'd pen them off, but just let them go, and they would just chomp at all the weeds and grass around the train tracks. That's where I came from. It's not my fault. And my parents left Hawaii. I wanted to stay.
I just want to know what the yard goats do when they're not clearing the grass and debris. As Alonso chases a slider from strike one.
Trying to get hits off Scherzer tonight.
I guess so. Imagine being a double-A player and you're going to be facing Max Scherzer tonight. Do you even sleep the night before? Check swing grounder. Tough play for Bregman coming on. And not that tough as it turned out. 2 away.
2 nasty sliders to Pete, and looks like Verlander, after that first inning when everything was up and his breaking ball was up, now he's thrown a couple sharp sliders down in the zone in this inning.
Almost all pitchers in the first inning are amped up, sometimes overthrow, but the great ones get a rhythm, and once they get into that rhythm, they start dialing up the ball exactly where they want it to go. Not that they can't be beat, but that's usually their MO.
9 in a row retired now by Verlander. He takes on McNeil, with whom he had a great showdown in the first inning. And a first pitch curveball fouled off.
There you go in the play. He knew he had time with Pete. Now, if it's Nimmo or Marte, you can see he's got 3 fingers on it, but makes the adjustment. Just a nice play. If he had been a little faster runner, it would have been a little more dicey.
When Bregman first was drafted by the Astros, we had some spring training games, and they played him at shortstop a lot to see whether he could do it.
And when Correa got hurt a couple of years ago, he played quite a bit of shortstop. Neal had a 9-pitch at bat against Verlander in that first inning with runners at first and third. And he struck him out again. Second time McNeil's been fanned. Verlander's 3rd strikeout. He's retired 10 straight. No score after 4. SNY Kidcaster contest. Ledmus Diaz leading off in the 5th inning in a scoreless game. Taijuan Walker just 45 pitches through 4 innings. He's walked 1, struck out 2, given up 3 hits. Diaz grounded out his first time up. We mentioned Diaz's rookie year with the Cardinals, 2016. Hit 300 that year, 17 homers, 65 driven in. He finished 5th in the Rookie of the Year balloting, which was won by Corey Seager. We will see this weekend. Now is a Texas Ranger. Deep behind the bag, another chance for Guillorme. 2 hops to first, and he got him. Oh, wow. Guillorme just continues to shine. He has been all over the place defensively in this game. And that time going behind the bag and taking a double away from Aledmys Diaz.
That's the second ground ball that took him right down the line. And here he opts the backhand. And he realized that was intentional. He probably wanted a 1-hop to his first baseman. But those are easy picks for any first baseman, whether you're Dom Smith or Dick Stewart.
8 chances already for Guillorme. There's a fly ball to left off the bat of Castro, and over comes Inciarte, and it lands foul.
You're right, Gary. I got him for 2 putouts and 6 assists so far in this game.
That's a lot through the first 13 outs of the game for a third baseman. Normally, you would think that would be with a left-hander on the mound, right?
Yeah.
That the third baseman would get an inordinate number of chances.
But you know, that slider that Taijuan Walker's throwing to the right-handed hitters and split finger is a ball that you will pull.
Jason Castro had a base hit to right field his first time up. He takes a slider at the back foot. Ball on a strike.
Well, we don't know what's going to happen today, but there's nothing better than watching a pitcher on a roll. How everything kind of slows down, as you can tell, for Walker. Nothing bothers him. Just execution first and foremost. And I will say, from being lucky enough to face a lot of great starters, is that there is a competitive feeling you get the night you put your head on the pillow before you're going to face a Justin Verlander. We talked about the hitters facing him. But you know, as a pitcher, you're going to have to be at your best.
Well, there's another piece to that, too, which is that right now the Mets rotation is kind of fraying, with Carrasco struggling. Bassett's been up and down, although he had a really good start against Miami his last time. Still waiting for the 2 big guns to come back. You got McGill on the shelf. Peterson's been a godsend, helping out at the back of the rotation. But right now, Taijuan Walker is the best starter the Mets have.
Agreed.
So there's a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, and he is really wearing it well.
Now, he has overcome that second half he had last year. Started in Pittsburgh.
And a good splitter to strike out Castro. That's his 3rd strikeout. 2 down in the 5th.
His growth has just been tremendous this year. I just think he's come of age, Ron. He's become a professional.
Well, you know, let's face it. He was a phenomenal prospect that got sidetracked and injuries, and then went through a period over 2 years where he didn't throw a lot of innings before he came to the Mets. So now, really, this is the year where he should be full, flat out, 180 to 200 inning season.
Well, last year, I mean, you couldn't necessarily tell it from his velocity, but clearly he hit a wall last year after throwing so few innings the 3 previous seasons.
You know, people always concentrate on hitting a wall physically. They don't remember that you can hit a wall mentally. Start making bad decisions out there.
Well, and there's another piece to it, and that is what's going on around you, right? Last year in the first half, all the attention was on DeGrom and having the greatest first half maybe than any pitcher's ever had.
Yeah.
So Walker kind of flew under the radar, but then DeGrom gets hurt mid-season. All of a sudden, there's a lot of eyes on Walker, and he had a tough second half, and maybe that has helped him this time around. Ground ball toward the middle. Lindor flags it down, spins around, and throws him out. Gorgeous play by Lindor. Side retired. Mets playing some infield defense. Guillorme and Lindor helping Taijuan Walker to a 1-2-3 top of the 5th. Halfway through, no score. Home fifth inning in a scoreless game. Luis Guillorme, who's had a busy day defensively, leads off against Justin Verlander and goes after a high fastball. 0-1.
You know, remember we were talking about the yard goats, and I said what I thought I knew they were.
Right.
Can we cut that out of the program, or?
What do you mean?
Well, I just got an email that said yard goats is the rail yard slang for the switch engines or terminal tractors that shuttle the train cars between different locomotives.
That's much less.
I think my story.
I much prefer your story.
My story is better, but it's not correct. So apologies. If we can somehow, Greg Picker, can we cut it out of the broadcast so when it re-airs, we'll take it out?
See, I totally disagree. I think
I agree.
Here's the deal.
Okay.
On something like that, which is, let's face it, not all that germane to the topic of the broadcast.
Okay.
Right? There was not bad baseball information passed along. If you say it with enough conviction, it's almost like it's real.
Okay. All right. Let's go with it.
Pretend like you're running for office.
That's right.
Guillorme goes down swinging on the fastball, and that's the fourth strikeout for Verlander.
All of a sudden, Verlander's just hit a higher gear. You're getting that upstairs fastball and that good curveball and slider.
11 in a row now retired by Verlander. Gave up a leadoff double to Nimmo in the first, a 2-out walk to Alonso in the first, and that's been it. Got Dom Smith looking his first time up. And runs that slider in, and Dom held the swing in time, 1-0. And Dom hooks one toward the right field line, but that'll go foul. It's the second one that he's barely missed down the line. So the Texas Rangers are coming in for the weekend.
Okay.
They're the second place team behind the Astros in the American League West. And here is our quickie quiz. Name as many Texas Rangers currently on the roster as you can. I got two. I got Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. Go.
Adolis Garcia.
I'm glad I have 48 hours to study.
You know, Chris Young is going to be very disappointed in us.
Curveball pulled foul again. Well, they made the big splash in the offseason, signing the two big free agents, Seager and Semien, and both of them have underperformed greatly. Now, Semien has perked up lately, but they both are way below their numbers from last year, and yet the Rangers are fifth in the American League in runs scored, so there's a lot of room for improvement there. The question, as always with Texas, is about their pitching. It seems like it's been that way for, well, how long have they been in Texas? Since 1972? And it always seems like it revolves around their pitching.
Our own Chris Woodward is the manager.
Their best pitcher this year has been the reclamation story of Martin Perez, back in Texas after a wander in other venues, and he's having a great year, and the Mets will see him on Saturday. And the former Rocky John Gray now has been pitching well also. That just missed. Verlander thought he had it, but didn't get the call. 2-2.
Their general manager, Chris Young, friend of the program. Remember, he and Kevin went through that whole stretch where he kind of helped us with the rehab that he was going through. It was one of the best things we've done on this network. We might have to reach out to him again.
With a lengthy at bat. Anyway, the Rangers are here Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll be here Saturday and Sunday. Friday night. Somebody else's responsibility. See, they just took another Sunday night game from us.
Did they?
Yes, they did.
July 24th, the Padres.
Yep. I wish someone would tell me this stuff.
You didn't get the memo?
No.
Dom wastes away the curveball, and it's 2-2.
I have a few emails that don't come my way or get answered, so we'll have to figure that out.
What we have here is a failure to communicate.
That's right. What was that actor? Crothers? Scatman Crothers? Was that what his name was?
No, that was in
It was in Cool Hand Luke.
Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah.
And he was the prison
The warden, yeah.
the foreman, right?
Yeah.
Great character actor.
Is that George Kennedy?
George Kennedy. He was the one that was the friend that made Cool Hand Luke eat the eggs.
I do believe George Kennedy got the Academy Award for that. It made him a star. The character actor always just played all those roles where he was always a hayseed, I guess.
Ninth pitch of the at bat coming to Dom. And he takes it low. It's been quite a turn at bat for Dom Smith, making Verlander work in a way he hasn't had to since he faced McNeil in the first inning. Strother Martin.
Strother Martin.
Yes. There you go.
Made a malapropism of his name, by the way. I did it. He went to the changeup there. Did not get it like he did against McNeil in the first inning, or did not execute the pitch.
Pitch number 10 to Dom. And he flicks one foul, and they'll keep on going. Anyway, one of the consequences of having a good team is that national TV takes more of our games.
Where's my date book? I'm going to put it in right now. July 24th. Date book? I use a date book still.
How do you mean it?
No,
It's the last.
I'm not allowed that date book, by the way.
It's the last date book on earth.
It is the last one on earth. I only can remember things if I write them down.
Pitch number 11 from Verlander, and Dom fouls that fastball away.
Wow.
This is getting interesting. We're halfway to Guillorme. 11 pitches deep.
Now it becomes kind of mano a mano, right?
Dom hasn't seen this many pitches in the majors in a month.
He got him out last time with that big late curveball. A lot of shakes.
And Dom flicks one out to the left side. Bregman playing over there. 12 pitch at bat, and Dom grounds out to the third baseman, 2 out.
He's really had about the same motion his whole career. Watch where his hands go initially. The start goes almost down to his quads. He has a little hesitation there, and the body quickens as he goes through this motion. So he starts slow, and like a train, it just rumbles until he has that real fast, quick twitch motion with his arm to get to 95 plus.
So 2 out now. Ender Inciarte. He goes after a high fastball. Inciarte was with the Yankees, playing AAA for them, had an opt-out in his contract, exercised that, signed with the Mets, played 4 games in AAA, and got called up yesterday. He's
watch how it quickens, nice and slow, and it just really works down that slope of the hill. You're always trying to use that slope to your advantage. No one does it better than Verlander.
Inciarte with a little tapper. That may stay fair, and it does. And Inciarte has an infield hit. Just hugged the grass for his first hit as a Met. Well, we've seen him bunt for hits many times. This wasn't a bunt, but it had the effective one.
Oh boy, and it serves to flip the lineup. If Nito doesn't add to this, this is just a check swing, and thank you very much. I mean, you couldn't have put a bunt down better.
Check swing, the ball hit behind the plate and found its way onto the playing field.
So Inciarte aboard after Verlander had retired 12 in a row. And now a chance for Tomas Nido with the man on. Nido hit one to the warning track in right field that Tucker caught his first time up. Nido getting the start today after James McCann started 3 straight games coming off the injured list. And Verlander throws a fastball by him, 0-1.
Well, watch the bounce here. It's in foul territory, as Ronnie said, but found its way into fair territory.
Climbed right up the lip and hopped onto the grass and stayed there.
Inciarte used to be a real good stolen base threat.
Verlander overwhelmed Inciarte with the first 2 pitches. He's done the same with Nido.
Been a little more indecision between Castro and Verlander in the last couple at bats, although not a lot this year. Castro and Verlander have worked to a great clip.
I think he wants to throw another gas attack.
Nido able to foul that one off on the high fastball.
I think he knows what he's doing out there, Ron.
There's certain pitchers that at times can almost bully the hitters. They're that good. You know, when we were looking at his motion, he is so strong from the waist down. His legs are just like tree trunks for Verlander.
Again, the 0-2, and the breaking ball grounded down to third. Another chance for Bregman, and that retires the side. We've got a scoreless game after 5 at Citi Field. It's a perfect summer afternoon, which means it's a perfect day for a little soft serve.
I had some friends that were visiting me today, and they came in and they got the 2 little twin girls ice cream. They were so happy.
Have you ever met a kid who was not happy to have ice cream in his hands? Oh, it's our friends in parking lot A.
Oh, nice.
It's a nice little twist there in the middle. It's lovely.
But by the way, I've never met announcers who don't like ice cream as well.
Well, I mean, I can expand that for you. Have you ever met a human being who does not enjoy the occasional ice cream?
That's right.
Of any age.
That looks like a Haagen-Dazs bar there.
Yeah, it does, or a Dove bar,
Yeah.
one of those, yeah. Jose Altuve 0 for 2 today, and he takes one on the corner for a strike, 2-1. Third time around the batting order now for Taijuan Walker, who's been just about impeccable through the first 5 innings. Only 58 pitches thrown. He's allowed just 3 hits. Walked 1, struck out 3. And Altuve wouldn't bite on the slider, and now it's 3-1. Jeremy Pena on deck, and then the extraordinarily dangerous Yordan Alvarez due up third in the inning.
Altuve will go into launch mode here.
He likes to swing the bat.
Yep.
And he swings and grounds it to Guillorme, his 9th chance of the day. The record, by the way, for a 9-inning game for a third baseman, 14. Might be on his way. Let's check in with the studio. Gary Apple has a game break brought to you by your local Honda dealers. Gary.
Oh.
Gee.
The shades of Lorenzo Cain. Bunt dropped down by Pena, but Walker's right on it. And that's an easy second out for Taijuan.
He could have been seriously injured up against that wall. Jeez.
You know, the numbers prove it out the way that Taijuan Walker, we had not seen enough of fielding. Just such an excellent fielder. Gets in. That was an easy play, but it's easier because of the positioning. He's always ready to field.
And we know from watching his pickoff move that for a big man, he's got very quick feet.
Must have been some kind of basketball player in Ukaipa.
Right, here's his third time around against Alvarez. who's popped up and walked today, and he's trying to slow Taiwan down.
First 2 times up, first pitch curveball he tried to flip in. Let's see what he does third time through.
And he starts him off with a cutter, and he swings past it. He said he was not throwing that pitch anymore. That was a good one.
That was a great one.
You make up pitches against or recreate pitches when you're facing guys this hot.
Let's have the full shift on against Alvarez. And he flies one out to center, playable for Nimmo over in left center, and that retires the side. Walker gets Alvarez out. He's retired 8 in a row. What a pitcher's duel we've got going. Spectrum Mobile brings you the high-speed hitting for it today. Brandon Nimmo's first pitch double against Justin Verlander in the first inning, by far the hardest hit ball of the day.
I think Justin was on that, and Brandon was on that list last night, if I remember correctly. He hit a bullet somewhere.
Now he's up for the third time after grounding out in the third and fouls back a high fastball.
Nimmo hit the bullet up the middle, his third at bat, I believe, last night.
Nimmo, Marte, and Lindor. Mets have had just 2 hits against Verlander. The Astros have had just 3 hits against Walker. And both are working to very low pitch counts in this game. And Nimmo foul tips one, and it's 0-2.
So precise with that movement. That ball he throws inside comes back over the plate about 3, 4, 5 inches, and he's so precise. He throws it right at the hitter's hands, and it bends back over that inside corner.
Nimmo choking up, gets curveball and bounces it foul. Well, it's been interesting in this game anyway that the Astros have not overshifted against Nimmo or McNeil or Guillorme for that matter.
They're a wicked smart organization.
Well, some teams that think they're wicked smart have been shifting all those guys this year. Sometimes have had to change midstream. And Verlander blows one right by Nimmo for his 5th strikeout.
Ouch. He did throw it by him.
That's 14 of the last 15 retired by Justin Verlander. The only blip was the check swing infield hit by Ender Inciarte. Here's Marte, who's been hot with the bat. He's flied out twice in this game. 0 for 2. Fastball strike. Well, the last full year that Verlander pitched was 2019. He won his 2nd Cy Young Award. Look at that whip, 0.8.
Look at the strikeouts. I mean, I know we talked about it. But my gosh, the innings pitched.
2 hopper for the shortstop Pena. And he throws out Marte, and Verlander just keeps rolling along. 2 out and nobody on.
Boy, first 2 innings he was trying to find it. Boy, from the 3rd inning on, he has just been a machine. It's going to be one mistake that's going to lose this ball game, maybe.
We'll win it.
Very good, Gary. I notice your glass.
Try.
I notice your glass is half full.
I try and keep it as half full as I can. Here's Lindor, who's grounded out and fouled out 0 for 2. And Francisco takes a slider inside for ball 1.
Verlander so far 6 groundouts, 6 flyouts, 5 Ks.
Well distributed. Keeping everybody involved. had to pick one thing that has made Verlander the pitcher that he is, what would that be?
I don't know him well enough, but I will take it from Jim Leland. Stubborn. Just refuses to not believe that his way is the right way. Belief in oneself, I guess.
I mean, just the very fact that at age 37 he blew out his elbow. He could have gone taken it to the house.
Yeah.
He had enough money, enough accomplishments, would be a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's drilled to right field by Lindor, but Tucker moves over and makes the grab to end the inning. But he worked as hard as you can possibly work for 2 years to come back at age 39, and he's having a Cy Young caliber season. That probably tells you all you need to know about the relentlessness. Seventh inning in a scoreless game. Classic pitchers duel between Taijuan Walker and Justin Verlander. Alex Bregman has one of the 3 hits for Houston today, a soft single to left in the 4th. Astros got the first 2 men on in that 4th inning. Since then, Walker's retired 8 in a row. 3 on the left side against Bregman. And he takes the slider off the plate, and it's 2-1. Bregman hooks one foul. Just over the netting. 2-2. Kyle Tucker on deck, and then Yuli Gurriel for the Astros. Walker at just 70 pitches pitching in the 7th inning. He's not gone beyond 7 this year. Twice has completed 7. Has not thrown a pitch in the 8th inning this season. This might be the day. And Bregman fouls one off. Who's going to crack? Bregman spits on the slider, and it's 3-2. Bregman 8 hits and 13 at bats in the 4 games against the Mets the last 2 weeks. Mets are trying to beat the Astros for the first time since 2014. 6 games in that span, but nonetheless.
Still.
3-2 coming. And he bounces one down to third. Another chance for Guillorme, who's had a busy day. That's his 10th chance of the afternoon. All flawless. Let's check in with the studio. Gary Apple has another update. Gary, it's all yours. Gary, I got my media guide out. I'm gonna have to work on that. Can you say Jonah Heim?
I can say it. Don't know what position he plays.
That's hooked foul by Tucker. Well, your city probables for the weekend. Don't forget the game's on Apple TV Friday. Chris Bassett goes against the rookie Glenn Otto. And it's probably going to be David Peterson Saturday against Martin Perez, who's having a great year. And then Sunday, probably Carlos Carrasco against John Gray, who's pitched really well lately. Tucker's 0 for 2, grounded out and struck out. Mets have the full shift on against him. And Tucker grounds one foul. So 10 chances for Guillorme today among the first 19 outs. The record for a 9-inning game is 14. Rafael Devers for the Red Sox in 2019 in a game against the Yankees. That's for a 9-inning game. Go 2 to Tucker. And he takes a splitter downstairs, 1-2. I didn't have Devers on my dance card as having that record.
I mean, bat first, right?
Guess they were just trying to hit the ball to him.
I mean, he's having quite a year.
He has quite a year every year.
That's true.
Tucker takes the slider. Just missed.
Boy, Walker thought he made the pitch. And I tell you what, it could have gone either way. We've had some. Look at his reaction.
He has not called that low and in pitch all game long.
Tried to move it in. Chris Siegel wasn't biting. And Tucker takes the splitter down, and it's 3-2. So back-to-back full counts for Walker. Only his second and third full counts of the day. He got Bregman on a ground ball. Now 3-2 to Tucker. And he walked him. Second walk given up by Taiwan. So after he retired 9 in a row, the Astros have a 1-out base runner, and Yuli Gurriel coming up.
Get your job lineup in order. Snap a picture and let the Home Depot app find the product you need fast.
So now Walker faces Gurriel, who grounded into a double play his last time up after doubling down the left field line in the second. Tucker with good speed at first, Walker with a great move, and Tucker getting a very short lead, so he's hurt.
Well, he's stolen 2 bases in the 3 games so far between these teams.
14 steals for the year. He's 5th in the American League in that category. And Walker misses with a first pitch sinker, ball 1.
So funny. Remember the last at bat, he threw that same exact pitch and got the call off the plate down and in. Not this time, no.
It's been very erratic because Chris Siegel behind the plate. Carlos Torres was about in the same boat last night.
Gurriel flies one out to left, and in comes Inciarte to put it away for the second out. So 2 out, Tucker still at first, and Aledmys Diaz coming up. Diaz been up twice, grounded out to Guillorme both times. Inspired move, wouldn't you say? Buck Showalter putting Guillorme at third base today. 8 assists and 2 putouts for Guillorme.
Start calling him Karnak.
More like Hoover. And that ball's dropped by Dom. Otherwise, pretty close play.
I still think Gourmet might stick, Keith.
Eating up all the ground balls.
That's right.
More like Gourmand.
Gourmand.
I was referring to Buck as far as putting Gourmet at third and getting all these chances. Jeez.
Just call him Gourmet again. That's hooked into left field. A base hit for Diaz. Chased toward the line by Inciarte. Tucker to third. The throw will go to second. And the Astros have runners at the corners with 2 down. And now what do you do if you're Dusty Baker? You've got your light hitting catcher coming up. Would you consider batting for Castro? Apparently not.
That was one of the few high sliders by Taiwan and handled by Diaz. I guess if you're going to give Maldonado, who's a big bodied catcher, a day off, you got to give him a day off.
Well, Inciarte throwing to the right base. No chance to get the speedy Tucker.
So here's Castro, who had a base hit back in the third, but then struck out in the fifth. First and third and 2 down. And first pitch breaking ball sails high. It's the first time today that the Astros have had a runner as far as third base.
A lot of signs there by Gary Pettis, the third base coach. Awfully glad to see him back there.
Through some tough medical times, former Mets coach. And Walker now struggling. Missed with a slider, missed with a splitter, and now it's 2-0 to Castro, who is 0 for 18 this year with runners in scoring position. He has 1 run batted in through his first 76 at bats.
8 for 76 this year.
But 500 today.
Yeah. Small sample size. You know, you get in these situations where you know if you give up a point, you could lose a game. So you're trying to make the perfect pitch instead of consider your option. Your option is you're facing Castro. It's batting under 100. Your stuff is good today. Be aggressive.
And he's faced Castro plenty. Castro is 2 for 16 against Taiwan.
And I see a little movement out in that Met bullpen. I'm not sure if anybody's going to get up.
All the best arms for the Mets are fully rested.
It was a good time to walk in and let Walker catch his breath here.
2-0 to Castro. He hits it off the fists in the shift. Run down by McNeil. Side retired. Beautifully done by Walker. Nice play by McNeil. And the Mets keep the Astros off the board. Stretch time. Still no score. Who better to have up leading off in the 8th inning in a score in the 7th inning in a scoreless game than Pete Alonso. Pete started the day tied for the National League lead in home runs with 22. Justin Verlander's given up 11 home runs this year, but he's given up virtually nothing today. A double to Nimmo in the first, an infield hit to Inciarte in the 5th, and that's been it. Alonso has walked into a slow ground ball to third, 0 for 1. Pete takes a slider off the plate, ball 1. Now Taiwan Walker getting himself out of a jam in the top of the 7th. Does he have another one in him? Perhaps he does. Nobody's up in the Mets bullpen. 85 pitches for Taiwan through 7. He's not thrown a pitch in the 8th inning yet this year. And Alonso takes up high, and it's 2-0. McNeil and Guillor made a follow for the Mets in the 7th. And Alonso gets under one. Pops it up into shallow left. Pena clearing the way. 1 out.
Just enough elevation on that fastball to get Pete to get under it.
Well, Jeff McNeil's been up twice, and Verlander has struck him out twice.
Well, he made the changeup, the only one I think. No, he's thrown 2 in the game. That one was perfect, and then this one looked like it was going to be a fastball in, but I don't know what it was. Maybe a bad slider.
Yeah, I think that was a slider.
You know, these games get to a point where it's like tennis. Each starter has to hold their serve.
And, you know, when you get a pitcher that has been dominated and has established against a hitter, that pitcher can get away with a bad pitch. Sometimes you don't want to make an effort of, a habit of it, obviously.
Fastball down the middle for a strike, and it's 1-1.
I just love the way he elevates his fastball. He can throw it down on the knees, and he can throw it upstairs. And he's been on the corners with it.
McNeil 4 home runs this year. Got a good swing at that fastball and fouled it back. 1-2.
I'll say one thing about Verlander. He's not afraid to throw the heater and just here it is.
At 39 years old.
Yep. And he's throwing. It seems like to me he's throwing harder than the first 2 innings. Like he just found another.
But as Ronnie said early on, that's always been him.
Yep.
Interestingly, as we play in the bottom of the 7th, up in the Mets bullpen is Edwin Diaz. So it would appear as though Walker's going to start the 8th, with Diaz ready to go as far as he needs to from there. Got the number 9 hitter leading off, and then Altuve due up in the 8th. Hooked on the ground. Diaz slides over to get it, and McNeil retired. 2 out, and that is 18 of the last 19 retired by Verlander.
Buck Showalter managing this game like it's a little later in the season.
Well, he's got an off day tomorrow.
Yep.
This team has not lost 3 games in a row all year. Right. Their lead is down to 4 games over the Braves, who play tonight against the Phillies. This is for late June. This is a pretty big game.
Yeah.
There's Guillorme, who's flied out and struck out 0 for 2. And the first pitch curveball misses for ball 1.
I think with the off day tomorrow, I think that Buck, there's a little bit of urgency for this game. You don't want your team to sit on getting swept twice, losing 3 in a row. You want to take this game, good feeling going into the off day.
That's ripped, and Diaz with a beautiful stop, throwing from his knees, and he gets Guillorme. He Guillorme'd Guillorme. And that gets Verlander through the 7th. Beautiful play by Aledmys Diaz. Louis, now you know how they feel.
Touche.
Diaz with a beautiful pickup. Wow, a lot of white showing, and he makes the play.
Influence, but not like Keith. He was a true leader.
All you have to do is be around Keith for about 15 seconds, and you realize he has this incredible charisma about him.
I'm Keith Hernandez.
Oh.
Get an inside look at the life and career of an amazing legend. He's Keith Hernandez, presented by your Tri-State Cadillac dealers tonight at 6:30. Right here on SNY. Taijuan Walker throws his first 8th inning pitch of the season, and it's a curveball for a strike to Jake Myers. Myers, the number 9 hitter, Jose Altuve on deck, and then Jeremy Pena, with Edwin Diaz ready in the bullpen if needed in the 8th. And Myers foul tips the fastball, and it's 0-2. Myers has hit the ball on the ground twice. The last time he hit one up the middle that Lindor made a beautiful play on, going to his left, spinning around and throwing him out. Walker's only struck out 3 today, and this is with a slider to Myers, 1-2.
We don't get to see games like this very much in today's world. I mean, when you got 2 pitchers going this deep, it's wonderful.
Well, they've both been splendid, Verlander and Walker, right from the start.
And they both have good pitch counts.
That's their best scoring chance in the first inning after Nimmo's leadoff double. The Astros had their best scoring chance in the 4th when they got the first 2 men on. And Walker struck out Tucker, got Gurriel to ground into a double play. Now you got Altuve looming on deck. Is this going to be Taijuan's last batter, or will he get Altuve for a 4th time? Might depend what happens here with Myers. Do you know that as a Met, Taijuan has never faced a batter 4 times in a game? In fact, the last time he faced a batter 4 times in one game, 2017, 5 years ago.
I believe it.
Because he was hurt for several of those seasons. But it just gives you an idea how rare this is for him to get this deep. 6th pitch to Myers, and he fouled back the high fastball.
A little better swing by Myers there. Ball was way out of the strike zone.
This Myers' 5th start of the year, coming off shoulder surgery. One-two from Walker, and the slider just off the plate. 2-2.
I'm always amazed when hitters can take that pitch, but I don't think they can hit it. That's why they don't swing at it.
That missed. Close.
Close though, right?
Nito trying to sneak it in there.
Chris Siegel having none of that. Pitch number 8 to Myers, and he hits it on the ground. Guillorme flags it down. Chance number 11 for Luis Guillorme. He has been impeccable. And that's the last pitch Taijuan Walker is going to throw today. He's not going to face Altuve for the 4th time. He's going to be pulled after 7 1/3 in favor of Edwin Diaz, who will be asked to go the rest of the way. What a performance by Taijuan Walker with some help from Guillorme, who was just magnificent in the field behind him. Walker Goes 7 1/3 scoreless. Done. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Nissan. Shop NissanUSA.com. Sound the trumpets. In New York, break down today's Mets Astros game on Baseball Night in New York, presented by your Tri-State Cadillac dealers tonight at 6, only on SNY. Edwin Diaz on in a scoreless game with 1 out in the top of the 8th to try and hold the fort against the top of the Houston batting order. Taijuan Walker, job brilliantly done. Justin Verlander getting ready to pitch the bottom of the 8th, hoping his team can get him a lead. Jose Altuve is 0 for 3 today. And Diaz starts him off with a fastball low for ball 1.
Diaz has faced 118 hitters this year and struck out 57 of them.
Altuve 0 for 4 in his career against Diaz. Jeremy Pena on deck. And the slider misses inside. It's 2-0. If anybody gets on this inning, that would mean another chance for Yordan Alvarez, who has been held relatively in check so far this afternoon. Diaz behind 2-0. And Altuve watches one sail by him. Was he hit? I guess he was. So Altuve is hit by the pitch. And that puts the lead run aboard with 1 out.
Diaz, fastball sometimes can get away from him. Oh, it just ticked his little nice acting there.
Got the jersey. He thought it was going to get more.
It's the first batter Edwin Diaz has hit this season.
Oh my goodness.
And now Jeremy Pena with Altuve aboard. Altuve with 5 stolen bases in 6 tries this year. Pena's gone 0 for 3 today. Tried to bunt his way on last time up, and Walker threw him out. And the rookie shortstop is late on the fastball. 0-1.
The numbers for Diaz. Nissan numbers this season. 31st game. Strikeouts to innings pitched is off the charts.
2 strikeouts per inning. Pena 1 for 8 so far in this series. Altuve's running. Pena hits it through the hole, base hit. Altuve slid into second, and he's not able to go on to third. Well, something finally was hit beyond the reach of Luis Guillorme as Pena sailed it through the hole. And now the Astros have 2 men on, but that was huge that Altuve slid and so was not able to take that lead run to third with 1 out.
Just a slider up in the strike zone. Just a spinner. And the young Pena laces it into left field. Now watch Altuve. The slide on the steal attempt. Tried to pop up and go.
That was a good pop-up slide, but Inciarte came in and closed quickly.
And now quite the confrontation in a scoreless game in the 8th. Edwin Diaz faces Yordan Alvarez, who has homered 4 times against the Mets in the first 3 games these last 2 weeks. He's gone 0 for 2 and a walk today. And Alvarez takes a slider into the back foot. Ball 1. And Diaz just trying to get him settled in here in the 8th inning. He's given up a hit batsman on a single, and now facing the most dangerous hitter in the Astros lineup. 23 home runs, 56 driven in. And Alvarez takes a fastball in the corner, even though Nito failed to catch it. It's a strike, and it's 1-1.
Alvarez shaking his head. He thought that ball was down.
First time for Diaz facing Alvarez. And Alvarez swings and misses at the slider. And it's 1-2. Alex Bregman waiting on deck. Great speed on the bases. Altuve at second, Pena at first. 1-2. And a foul tip held by Nido. Strike three. Diaz strikes out Alvarez for the second out of the inning.
Well, if you've got a superior slider, see if he'll chase. He chased 2 in a row right there.
How about Nido just getting that in the web and picking it off the ground?
Didn't hit the dirt, so it counts as a foul tip, third strike. And now Bregman with 2 out and 2 on. 1 for 3 today. And he takes a first pitch slider for a strike, 0-1. Bregman 1 for 4 in his career against Diaz. McNeil trying to keep Altuve close at second. And another slider for a strike, and it's 0-2. It's amazing how much better command he has of his slider sometimes than his fastball. Couldn't get him to chase. 1-2.
Good placement with that pitch. Started on the corner and bent it out just in case Bregman was chasing.
Everybody's standing here in the 8th inning. Scoreless game. 2 out, 2 on. 1-2 coming to Bregman. The slider misses down. 4 straight sliders from Diaz, and it's 2-2.
Make sure McNeil gets back in position. Bregman with 2 strikes. RBI situation, likes to shoot it that way.
Altuve is going to score on any hit to the outfield anyway. 2-2 coming. Slider got him looking. Strike 3. Side retired. 5 straight sliders from Diaz to strike out Bregman after fanning Alvarez. And Edwin keeps it a scoreless game for Taijuan Walker as we go to the bottom of the 8th at Citi Field. .38-year-old Justin Verlander twice this year has gone 8 innings. He's out there for the 8th in a scoreless game to face Dom Smith. Dom had a 12-pitch at bat before grounding out his last time up in the 5th, tied his longest plate appearance in his career. And takes a fastball high from Verlander, ball 1. Verlander has retired 19 of the last 20 batters since walking Alonso in the 1st inning. The only blemish, an infield hit by Inciarte. And he falls behind on Dom, 2-0.
So he is sat at 95, 96 all game. Those first 2 fastballs, 94 and 93.
There is nobody up in the Houston bullpen. A lot of faith in Verlander's ability to get through this 8th inning. Inciarte and Nido, the next 2 scheduled hitters. And Dom fouls back the fastball, another 93, and it's 2-1.
It's a beautiful line if you're a pitcher.
One number he is missing, though, is the number in a runs column for his own team. Drew Smith is up. I don't know what that means for the top of the 9th. We'll wait and see. And Dom gets one in on his hands and pops it up. Pena tracking it into shallow left center. Alvarez comes in and they come together. And the catch is made, but Pena and Alvarez collided heavily, and Pena and Alvarez are both down. Smith is retired. The ball was caught by Pena, but they are both shaken. That is one very big man, Alvarez, coming in from left. They both were calling for it, and neither one relented.
Alvarez hasn't moved, and he's the bigger guy.
Pena getting to a sitting position, and Alvarez clearly is the more concerned of the two.
I think the trainer asked the Diaz to come in to try to translate. You see his right foot twitching a bit. Pena trying to catch his breath. Pena's a big man too. It's not like he's a little guy.
He's still in that same position.
Both of them were calling.
Oh, he got it
right over across the face.
Yes, he got it in the mouth and the nose.
Oh, elbow maybe right to the face. The glove first, and then I think the elbow followed through into Alvarez's face. That's what he covered up immediately.
Well, Pena is up on his feet. That's the good news. Bad news is that Alvarez is still down. If at least rolled him over on his back now, but we have no way of knowing whether he's conscious, whether there's a great concern for concussion or some other injury. Pena also got hit in the face by Alvarez, as Alvarez got hit in the face by Pena.
Both got clobbered.
And both are hollering, both are calling for the ball, and each hit the other in the face.
What made that play harder is Pena was in the shift. He didn't come from his normal shortstop position. He had to come from behind second base. Longer way to travel. You know, folks sometimes ask, how can that happen? Who's not calling for the ball? This is a 0-0 game. Both players are doing their best to make sure the ball doesn't hit the grass.
Well, Alvarez up in a sitting position finally, but clearly great concern about his well-being. So Gurriel pointing under his eye, talking to Alvarez.
Like there might be a cut or a mouse.
Right. And now finally up to his feet. Got 3 Cuban players there.
He's shaking his head. Asked the question, is he all right? Yeah, I'm good.
He wants to stay in.
Yeah, they're not going to let him stay in. There's no way. With the concussion protocols being what they are, you worry about brain injury, and I don't think there's any way they'll let Alvarez stay in this game. Meanwhile, Justin Verlander, I believe, has gone to the dugout.
I think he's still out there, Gary, with the players.
Okay.
Yeah, seeing what's going on.
You're right, he is.
He'll get a few tosses when he needs them.
They're bringing the car out with the stretcher. I don't know if Alvarez requires that, but they're bringing it out in case he needs it.
He should have kept him on his back if they're going to take him off the field. But
he can at least sit in the cart. Let's see. Yeah, they're going to have him sit, and they'll take him off that way, it would appear. Jazz McCormick has come out on the field, starting to do some loosening up. So he'll come in for Alvarez. And Pena, it looks like, is going to stay in the game.
Look at
Verlander making sure that he's okay. Well, they say you never get hurt when you're in a cold streak.
Yeah.
Can't be hotter than Yordan Alvarez is right now. Hopefully he's not badly injured. But clearly they have enough concern about him that they're not even going to have him walk off the field. They're going to cart him off. And he almost fell off when the cart began moving.
Before you drive off, you should ask the rider if he's ready to go.
Feeling in his mouth there. So now they will slowly drive off and get him the medical attention that he needs.
Trainer for the Astros, of course, will accompany Yordan.
So Alvarez is out. Verlander will throw in some warm-up pitches. Here's the play again.
Oh boy, they both got it. It seemed to me that Pena called it late because he wasn't sure if he was going to get there. Alvarez was calling the entire time, but it was an in-betweener. They have a esprit de corps with this Houston team.
And now the trainer, I think, is encouraging Pena to come out of the game. They obviously saw signs that he was not quite 100% either after he got hit in the face. So they're going to take both players out of the game. Jazz McCormick is coming to play left.
Diaz may go to short.
Might lose their DH.
Well, they have Dubon who can play short.
That's right.
Unless they want to bring Altuve into the game and lose the DH, which I don't think you'd want to do at this point in a scoreless game. Dubon played shortstop while the Mets were in Houston, while Pena was out with a thumb injury. And it is Mauricio Dubon coming on the field. So now you got Verlander after a lengthy delay here with two of his teammates injured in a scoreless game, having to get himself refocused.
Well, if you wanted to have anyone out there on the mound who's seen just about everything, Verlander would be the guy. Ender Inciarte coming up. If I were pitching today, I would be trying to get ready, try to get my mind focused, also ready for the bunt attempt by Inciarte. That's part of his game.
I think the question is about where the hitters are batting, bringing two players in at once.
Just wants to line up. Check.
To know who's batting where. Pena was batting second, Alvarez third. Neither one of them due up imminently in the ninth inning, but I'm trying to keep his lineup card straight. So for the moment, we will assume Dubon is hitting second and McCormick hitting third. So after that rather scary collision knocks two Astros out of the game, Verlander goes back to work against Ender Inciarte, who was the last man to reach for the Mets on a little squib hit. And he does square to bunt. Brings the third baseman Bregman in, ball one.
Yeah, Bregman's on the cut of the grass. On the first base side, they're playing back.
Tomas Nido is on deck. No hint of a pinch hitter for him. And Inciarte flies one out to center. And Myers is there. And that's the second out. So Verlander keeps it rolling. That is 21 of the last 22 that he's retired. And he'll face Nido with two out and nobody on.
I would say that delay, though, if he's able to get this third out, takes him out of the ninth inning.
And they have a fully rested bullpen. Yeah. After Framber Valdez gave them 8 innings yesterday. Ryan Presley is their closer. You would expect to see him in the ninth inning. Here's Nido's fly deep to right and grounded to third, 0 for 2. Mets have had just 2 hits today. And Nido tries to lay off the slider, and he stopped it in time. Ball one.
Saying the Mets' best scoring chance was in the first. That was 2 hours ago.
And they've had only one base runner since the first. Verlander has been spectacular. And that slider in for a strike. 1-1.
Steady diet of fastballs in Nido's last at bat. 2 sliders to start this at bat.
The other thing about the collision and the delay, it might take Edwin Diaz out of the game. They might have been taking him out anyway. Drew Smith has been throwing in the bullpen. I have to believe the initial plan was for Diaz to come in and get 5 outs, but he threw 14 pitches in the 8th inning, and they got Smith up once this inning got going. And now with the delay, probably even more likely that Diaz is not coming back for the ninth.
4 sliders in this at bat against Nido.
Yeah, he does not look like a pitcher who's coming back to the game. Up in the front of the dugout now, talking to his teammates, not sitting back. So either Buck had made up his mind before, or the delay made up his mind for him not to have Diaz pitch the ninth. Not the first time that's been the case this year. They had that game in LA earlier this season. And Nito down on strikes. Verlander through 8 scoreless innings. 6 strikeouts for Verlander. What a performance by the future Hall of Famer. Now we go to the 9th. Drew Smith coming in with no score. The road ahead, presented by your Tri-State Cadillac dealers. Mets are off tomorrow. They're on Apple TV Friday against the Rangers. We're back with you Saturday, 4 o'clock. And we'll be here Sunday as well. Then in Cincinnati, home to play Miami. Then in Atlanta and Chicago, which leads up to the All-Star break. Drew Smith will pitch the top of the 9th in a scoreless game.
That's sparkling earned run average.
Yeah, his Nissan numbers have been good. The only thing that he has not been totally control.
Well, his last outing against Miami, he walked 3 batters in 2/3 of an inning, including 1 to force in a run. That was 5 days ago. Now he's well rested, facing Kyle Tucker to lead off the 9th. First pitch curveball drilled into right field, and Tucker has a leadoff hit. So Tucker looked like he was waiting for that curveball. And Drew Smith immediately has trouble to contend with a speedy Tucker aboard to start the 9th.
Well, he likes to get that ball down in the strike zone. That's got too much outer half of the plate. He's a pull hitter. He's a pull hitter.
I mean, not an awful first pitch.
Not really bad.
Tucker 14 stolen bases in 15 tries. Yuli Gurriel at the plate, 1 for 3 tonight. And that first pitch slider in for a strike, 0-1. Taijuan Walker went 7 1/3, no runs, 4 hits, a walk, 3 strikeouts, lowered his season ERA to a sparkling 2.72. Edwin Diaz got 2 outs, and now Drew Smith trying to keep this game scoreless in the 9th. And a close play at first, but Tucker got back.
Back of the bag gives you a little more time.
Even with the lefty first baseman. For whom it's always an advantage.
They always complain, though. They never have an advantage.
It's a left-hander's game. It's so quiet today.
I had a lot to do today. Before the game, couldn't prepare. Got me running ragged around here.
Well, this is the start of your week.
I mean, it's the start of the Keith Festival. Boy,
it's like Woodstock.
10 more days. It's like Coachella. Or maybe more appropriately, Burning Man. 1-1 to Gurriel. Ryan Presley getting ready for the bottom of the 9th. The Astros closer. 1-1 to Gurriel. Hit on the ground to third. Guillorme with a running throw to second. Got the force there. Relay not in time. But Guillorme with another spectacular play. His 12th chance of the day. Off balance, right on target to McNeil to get the first out.
Come in and get the long hop, throwing on the run. Perfect feed for McNeil. That around the horn double play, it's a tough one. I mean, we had this conversation before earlier in the game. I mean, Guillorme is a Gold Glove fielder, and he plays all 3 positions, and he's not going to get probably a Gold Glove. But should there be a Gold Glove for a utility player?
Here's Aledmys Diaz taking a fastball for a strike.
I mean, he's just got great hands, great instincts, knows how to play the game. I mean, he's a Gold Glove fielder.
Accurate throws from just about any angle. Diaz 1 for 3. He takes a slider off the plate, and it's 1-1.
More importantly, Tucker off the bag.
Gurriel not nearly the stolen base threat Tucker is, although Gurriel has 3 this year. He'll sneak one every now and again. There goes Gurriel, swung and fouled back. I don't think it was a hit and run play.
No, he was just timing it, and Drew Smith gave him the proper timing. He just took those little baby steps out there, and
Right time to try it.
Verlander looking on, looked like he's done after 8 innings, hoping his team can get him a run in the ninth. Gurriel goes back in standing. So Verlander's not going to go 9, so this stays intact. The last pitcher this old, 39 or older, to go have a complete game against the Mets, Rick Russell in 1988. He was 39.
Did you notice Joe Niekro and
in the air to left field, coming on a step is Inciarte, and that's the second out, and back to first goes Gurriel, 2 out. I'm sorry, Keith, what?
Joe Niekro's on that list quite a bit, and Warren Spahn going way back. I guess the Warren Spahn in '63 and owned the Mets.
Just about everybody until he came to the Mets. So 2 out. And here's Castro. Jason Castro 1 for 3 today. In the bottom of the ninth, Mets will have the top of the batting order coming up. Nimmo, Marte, and Lindor against Presley. And Castro takes a fastball away for ball 1. Drew Smith gave up a leadoff hit, but he's gotten 2 outs now. Gurriel still at first. Full shift on against Castro with McNeil playing back in the triangle. That paid off the last time Castro was up. Castro hit one past Dom Smith, and McNeil fielded it almost on the right field line and was able to throw Castro out. And that was big because the Astros had a runner at third with 2 out. Top of the batting order for the Mets in the bottom of the ninth. Sports Night tonight at 11. Lots of Mets news. Max Scherzer pitching his second rehab start. Echo Sports Night tonight and every night. SNY. Castro clocks one to deep right field, and that ball is out of here, and the Astros have the lead in the 9th inning. Jason Castro with his first home run of the season, a 2-run shot off Drew Smith, and a crushing blow for the Mets. The Astros lead 2-0 in the 9th.
Is that the 10th home run in this 4-game set, Gare, that the Astros have hit?
Jason Castro, 8 home runs last year, 97 now for his career, but he had been 8 for 77 with 1 run batted in this year before he connects with 2 out in the top of the 9th.
Wow.
That hurts.
Hanging breaking ball. Right in the middle of the plate and down. Castro, a low ball hitter. Line drive.
First 2-hit game for Castro this season, and the second one is a 2-run homer.
Wow. Well, there's the swing right there. He let the ball come to him. That's why they play the games. The most unlikely guys can make a big difference in a ball game.
5th home run Drew Smith's allowed this year. And so now Ryan Presley will be coming on to try and save it for Verlander.
We contemplated would he hit Dusty Baker hit for Castro in the 7th.
Well, there you can see the ball right in the middle of the plate, around mid-thigh. Oh, and that's a Verlander looking at number 10. W number 10.
Jason Castro, the former first-round draft pick out of Stanford. Never been considered much of an offensive threat. Always has been considered a terrific defensive catcher. Second time around with the Astros, who originally drafted him 14 years ago. And he gets a huge hit. His first home run of the season to put Houston in front. 2-2 to Jake Myers. And unless the Mets have a rally in the bottom of the ninth, they are staring in the face of their first 3-game losing streak of 2022. Diaz pitched in the 8th after Walker retired the leadoff hitter and got around trouble, but Smith brought on to pitch the 9th. He strikes out Myers to end the inning, but not before Jason Castro's two-run homer gave the Astros the lead. They're up 2-0 in the 9th. After we're done here, keep it tuned for post-game PointsBet post-game live. Gary Apple, Jerry Blevins will be along with all the analysis, interviews, highlights. Mets trying to rally in the bottom of the 9th. They avoided being shut out yesterday. They were down 9-0 going to the 9th. Got a run to prevent being shut out for just the 3rd time this year. Now they're down 2-0 as they come up in the bottom of the 9th. And Ryan Presley, a 2-time All-Star, will come in to try and save it.
Yeah, trying to give him a finish. Presley, though, one of the best in the game. A little bit of an inflated ERA, but one of the best breaking balls out of the pen you're going to see.
Brandon Nimmo to lead off, top of the batting order for New York. Nimmo had a double back in the 1st. Mets have only had 1 hit since. Nimmo attacks the first one, flies it out to center, and Myers, with plenty of room, goes back and puts it away for a long first out. 1 pitch, 1 retired for Presley. Astros bullpen has been tremendous this year. They had been leading the American League until they gave up a run yesterday. Well, it really didn't matter much. In a 9-1 victory.
They coughed up a couple 3-run leads in the Bronx in that 4-game series. Interesting, Brandon swinging first pitch there, down 2.
Now Starling Marte. Mets need to get somebody on to get Alonso to the plate here in the 9th. Marte's 0 for 3 today. Fastball in for a strike, 0-1. Justin Verlander went 8, no runs, 2 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. He's in line for his 10th win of the year. Just an amazing comeback at age 39. And now Presley trying to make it stand up, throws a nasty slider to get ahead on Marte. 0-2.
Straight over the top, and that breaking ball went straight down.
By the way, Verlander lowered his ERA to 2.03. And Marte gets a piece of the curveball and fouls it off.
That was a little bigger breaking ball, but watch this breaking ball straight over the top. Slight turn at the end, coming off that middle finger off the seam. Nasty pitch.
Francisco Lindor waiting on deck. Ground ball out to short, and Pena's got it. He throws out Marte, and the Mets are down to their final out. Instead, Pena's Dubon at shortstop. Of course, Pena was injured earlier. So 2 out. Here's Lindor, who hit the ball hard his last time up, lined out to right field against Verlander. One of the few hard hit balls against Verlander all day. Let's need a bloop and a blast. Alonso would be next, but Lindor has first got to keep it going. And the curveball drops low, ball 1. Three on the right side against Lindor. The shortstop hole completely open. And he fouls back the fastball, and it's 1-1. Lindor 2 for 11 in his career against Presley, who started out with the Twins. Now in his 5th year with Houston. 26 saves last year, 15 already this year. Back foot slider misses, and it's 2-1. Mets have had one base runner since the first inning, and that was a check swing infield hit by Ender Inciarte in the 5th. That's how thoroughly they were dominated today by Verlander. Curveball swung and missed, and now the Mets are down to their final strike.
Back door. Took a little off that one.
Two coming from Presley to Lindor. And on the outside corner, strike 3 called, and the ball game is over. And for the first time this year, the Mets have lost 3 games in a row as the Astros, for the 2nd straight week, sweep a 2-game series. The last call, a very close one. Chris Siegel called that a strike. Did not appear to be. Presley gets the save. Jason Castro's 2-run homer off Drew Smith in the top of the 9th provides the only runs, and the Mets suffer through their first 3-game losing streak in 2022.
Well, not a lot of offense in this game. Great pitchers duel between Verlander and Taijuan Walker, and Verlander now just adds to his career active leader and wins at 236 and strikeouts at 3,103.
Well, only 2 hits for the Mets, and that just shows the dominance of Verlander. Only left 3 men on base, not a whole lot of opportunities.
Astros sweep 4 games from the Mets, who still haven't beaten Houston in 8 years. 2-0 final. We'll be right back.